The Netflix adaptation of Persuasion is the latest in a long line of film adaptations of the timeless classics from Jane Austen. Dakota Johnson stars as Anne Elliot, a woman who reunites with a man who she loved yet ended her engagement with. She did this to Wentworth, Cosmo Jarvis, when she was persuaded otherwise by her family friend, Lady Russell, Nikki Amuka-Bird, not to mention the disapproval from her status-obsessed father, Sir Walter Elliot, Richard D. Grant. With him now in the picture, she has a second chance to be with the man of her dreams. Though Persuasion is from Anne's perspective and Fleabag-style fourth wall breaks, Grant as Sir Elliot stands out. From his outlandish costumes and his comedic timing, his self-absorbed persona helps him stand out, as well as highlighting his differences from his forgotten middle child. Grant's Sir Elliot joins the ranks of the other memorable fathers from the Jane Austen cinematic adaptations. These fathers illuminate the traits of their strong-willed heroine daughters. Collider video of the day. Sir Walter Elliot is the definition of vanity. In Persuasion, there are portraits of himself adorning the halls of his home. He's introduced in the middle of a new portrait being commissioned while reading out the Elliot family history, reveling in the family's beauty and status. As he does this, he conveniently leaves out his daughter, Anne, well on her way to becoming a spinster. He dresses lavishly, and his only interest is connecting himself with people of equal or higher status to himself, something he makes a point of after discovering their distant cousins have moved to Bath as well. He actively refuses to acknowledge his own poverty. After years of indulging his finances to bolster his own status, it catches up with him to the point of renting out his home and relocating to Bath. Like Anne, he too had to be persuaded by Lady Russell to leave Kellynch Hall. In some ways, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Like her father, Anne is persuaded against being with the man she loves when he was just a poor sailor. As Wentworth mentions to Louisa Musgrove, née Atoll, Anne's pride manifests itself differently than her father. Instead of boasting about her rank or beauty, Anne silently, or at least to the audience, makes judgments about her family and her other relations. Anne has an opinion about everything, whether she says it out loud or not. On the other hand, Sir Elliot's lack of care towards Anne allows herself to create her own identity apart from him. While she's staying with her younger sister and her family, she has the ability to let her true personality come out. This is what initially draws Mr. Elliot, Henry Golding, towards her when they meet in Lyme. Sir Elliot's lack of interest in his more than meets the eye daughter lets this Austen heroine stand out. Another Austen father who stands to illuminate his daughter's attributes is Mr. Woodhouse. Bill Nye as Mr. Woodhouse in 2020's Emma. Is exceptional, his mannerisms and subtle comments add to the famous Austen comedy. Instead of being obsessed with himself like Sir Elliot, Woodhouse is obsessed with his health. As he gets older, he requires more care and attention. This is something his daughter, Emma, Anya Taylor-Joy, fills in for and sees to his every need. Her care and oversight for her father is extended to the different people in her life. Mrs. Weston, Gemma Whelan, and Harriet, Mia Goth. With her comfortable lifestyle, she's free to meddle as a matchmaker for everyone but herself. Her care for her father highlights her own caring nature, attempting to look out for the other people in her life, though sometimes misguided. In addition to this, Emma Woodhouse has inherited her father's matchmaking skills. Though it's not the focus as Emma's, her father notices the love blossoming between Emma and Mr. Knightley, Johnny Flynn. Towards the end of the 2020 film, Mr. Woodhouse puts up a divider to keep out a chill, when in reality it provides the privacy Knightley needs to kiss and seal their future as husband and wife. This is the case in every version of Emma. For instance, in Clueless, Mel Horowitz, Dan Hedaya, comments to Josh, Paul Rudd, on his positive influence on Cher, Alicia Silverstone. He's even seen cracking a smile watching Josh leave to go to the party Cher and Christian, Justin Walker, attend. In every version of Emma, her father wants to see his daughter happy and in love. Let's not forget Donald Sutherland as Mr. Bennet in the 2005 adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. Elizabeth Bennet, Keira Knightley, is one of the most beloved Austen heroines, and she's also her father's favorite daughter. They both share a bond as the level-headed anchors in the chaotic household, especially as they manage the loud personality of Mrs. Bennet, Brenda Blethyn. They're seen trying to salvage a social faux pas without causing. Elizabeth steps in after Mrs. Bennet makes a foolish comment about former suitors of Jane, Rosamund Pike, while Mr. Bennet tells Mary, Tallulah Riley, to stop playing pianoforte and singing at Mr. Bingley's, Simon Wood's, ball. In the words of Mr. Darcy, Matthew McFadden, Mr. Bennet has his flaws and lack of propriety, only stepping in after a situation has gone south. For example, it's after Mary has already embarrassed herself that he subtly yet publicly tells her to stop playing. Mr. Bennet sends off the immature Lydia, Jenna Malone, to stay with the army in Brighton unsupervised, though he thinks this will help Lydia finally grow up. This proves to be a bad decision when she elopes with Mr. Wickham, Rupert's friend. For all of his faults, Elizabeth Bennet wouldn't be who she is without her father. He gives his daughter the freedom to make her own decisions, something that wasn't heard of during that era of English society. When Elizabeth refuses Mr. Collins, Tom Hollander, he's completely supportive of her decision, even though he leaves the room for the awkward proposal. When contrasted with her stubbornness, Mr. Bennet's passive nature emboldens her not to back down when speaking frankly. He's also extremely protective of Lizzie, not accepting a proposal to any man less worthy of her. The two of them have an understanding that her other family members don't understand. Whether he's self-absorbed, totally supportive, or somewhere in between, the cinematic Austen fathers serve to highlight the qualities that allow their daughters to shine, endearing them to audiences and their future spouses. They don't take the spotlight from their daughters, rather these men give the space these women need to figure out life and love. Though they can be stoic or unintentionally comedic, these men help shape their daughters into the female characters who are routinely celebrated.